All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a live version of Permission to Speak. Great to have everybody joining us. I'm Paul Mercurio. I'm the host, obviously. I shaved for this. I just shaved. I was looking rugged, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go the other way. And yeah, I'm sorry. Really excited everybody's joining us. We been doing this show online and we took it around the country and still take it around the country. And we've gone to Florida with it. We've gone to Chicago, Milwaukee, New England, all over. So, and we want to do it online because we wanted people to kind of connect through the show. The show is based on my stand-up of liking to talk to audiences, but it's more than, it's not crowd work. It's just really talking to audiences and getting these amazing stories. And some Broadway producers saw me doing it. They thought the people were plants. They weren't. And we ended up like turning it into a show that Frank Oz is directing. Frank Oz created the Muppets. He's the original Yoda. He created that puppet. He's directed Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Little Shop of Horrors, Stepford Wives, every major star. And the show is based on those conversations, and the premises we're disconnected and divisive, but if we get together and we share stories, realize we have more in common than we think, and maybe we don't have to be so divisive, and we can take a minute to learn about each other because we're all stuck in our silos a little bit, partly because we're just busy with our day, and partly because it's just the way we are now. We're kind of in tribes, and this is sort of a show that we hope will just kind of connect people in a fun way. And, no judgments, say whatever you want. We don't talk politics, but if it comes up, it comes up. And we just want to get to know people and let people get to know each other and have a really fun show that maybe has a little bit of humanity to it without hitting it on the head too much and being too pedantic. Look that word up. That's my big word of the day. Ooh, whiskey. No. Yeah, so what I do, the show is live. We put in, we've got a really cool multimedia screen behind me that has animation done by J.J. Settlemeyer, who created Beavis and Butthead and all the SNL TV Funhouse videos. And we've got a really cool set designed by the set designer for The Late Show, which is a show that I work on. And then we've got some clips, and I'm going to show you an idea of what we do. I just randomly ask people to come up, or I talk to them in their chairs and just ask them questions, and they just really love the moment. I think people feel unheard, and this is a show where people can be heard and say what they want and not be judged and have a good time. So my producer, John Lucchetti, is going to pop a clip up for us and give you an idea of the show.
Did you grow up in an affluent family?
I grew up on a farm.
Oh.
Is that affluent?
It's not what people say, it's how they say it. She's a passive-aggressive human being. I grew up on a farm. Is that affluent? In the where? The farm not around here?
In Colorado.
Oh, yep. Where in Colorado?
Arvada. Anyone here from Arvada? No?
Here, take this. No, take it. You do it. Go ahead.
Oh, I think I made him mad.
Yeah. Go ahead, wise ass. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm from Arvada.
Look, he's from Arvada. Hi.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I miss it. Remember the country store?
I do. Were you there?
Yeah, I was.
I remember you.
You used to sell crystal meth there.
That's why I'm affluent now.
Nice! Woo! Come on!
There you go. That is a perfect example of how just regular old people can take command of the stage. She took the mic and started to be a performer, and she had a comfort and was playful, and that said a lot about her personality. A lot of times it's not what people say, it's the way they are and how they say it that tells you just as much about them. And she was really cool, and a lot of people went up to her after the show and thought she was great. And that's the other thing, that's cool thing that's happening is people are connecting on the shows and, kind of just, going up afterwards. And then she had the perfect line. I bought crystal meth from you. That's why I'm at point. Not a comedy writer, but people are, if they're comfortable and they know they're not going to be made fun of, we're all comfortable around our friends and we can all be funny, and that's what happens. So enough about me and about this. Let's open it up. I know we have a few people waiting to get on. Let's start with Dave. Dave, welcome.
Hi, Paul.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, where are you hailing from? Where are you? Where are you based?
Just a small town outside of Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh yeah, I know Omaha. I worked there at the Funny Bone. Yeah.
That's
And,
where I actually saw you perform one time.
oh, cool. Great. Well, thanks for checking the show out. What's going on in your neck of the woods? How's things?
Oh, things are fine. When I was at your show, there was a sign up list afterward to get emails from
Yeah.
your troupe, and so I saw this email come across this morning, and I thought, well, this is kind of cool because I actually was just thinking about a story I wanted to tell to somebody who would listen the other day, and so this was fortuitous.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
When I was coming home after my first year in college, I needed a summer job, and I had a friend from high school, and his mom knew somebody who was high up in one of the organizations that was in charge of all the cemeteries.
Oh, I
And
like. Can I just say I like where this is going.
yeah,
Please
And-
continue.
well, the background story is that there was a shakeup, and they had brought in a new superintendent of the cemeteries, and so they just needed. They had workers, a lot of whom they dismissed apparently, but they just needed seasonal workers. And so my friend asked if I would be interested, and I didn't have a job that summer. So I said, yeah, we went to high school together. We hadn't seen each other in a year because we went to different colleges. And this would be a good way to make some money, and we could have some fun doing it. So, so
Wait. You talked about a job at a cemetery and said we could have some fun doing.
well, the main reason was because he was my best friend and he was a funny guy, and so when he was telling me about this, he was already laughing.
Right.
So I
So
figured
he
it
was
just,
your peer, right? Same age guy.
yeah, same age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he had been working there a while.
No, he hadn't been working at all. The only reason why he knew about it was because his mom knew this person that was appointed as the new superintendent of the cemetery.
Got it.
So, anyways, so we showed up. So we got done with that first year of college, and we both kind of came back home. We started working there, and the first thing that we noticed was that there were some real characters that were on the payroll there, and they apparently had made the cut, even though there was a reorganization of the cemetery and they were cleaning house. These were the people that they had decided that they would keep.
They would keep. Okay.
Yeah.
This was the
And
high watermark of quality.
right. So the first group of people that I want to tell you about were Mark and Dave.
Okay.
So Dave was the new superintendent, and Dave was usually, because he was involved in the administration, not usually around like the workshop where we had kept all the equipment and stuff, but he would show up, and he had a lackey whose name was Mark. And Mark was just fresh out of the Marine Corps. And Mark, one of the first things we noticed is that Mark would come to Dave and he would suggest that fill in the blank needed to be redone because it didn't look good. And so that usually meant like that me and my friend would have to go back and do whatever it was that didn't look good. So
like when you say didn't look good, what are we talking about? Like
Okay, so yeah, so
the way they dug the hole for the casket or something, or
well, it was in Minnesota, and so one of the things that happens is during the winter months, like when people are buried, um, you obviously can't grow grass over it, and so the snow melts, and you've basically got like a month before Memorial Day,
and you got to
uh,
get the
and
grass.
you have to put sod on all of the graves that were dug over the winter.
What a depressing job! Oh my God.
And so, like me and my friend Jake, we were in charge of like sodding. Well, we weren't in charge of it. We were the worker bees, but we would sod these graves, and Mark would come through and he would say, you know, that one needs to get redone. That one needs to get redone. That one needs to get redone, because we weren't cutting it perfectly. We weren't
But
cutting
wait,
the sod
like
perfectly.
are people really going to complain if the grass is a little off? Like my father's buried, and I never think like, wow, this is unacceptable. There are 4 blades of grass out of like, how does that
Yeah.
matter to people?
Well, Mark would find these problematic graves, and then he would tell Dave, the new superintendent, and then Dave would show up, Mark would tell him, and then my friend Jake and I would find ourselves like redoing what we had done like the day before. Um, and so then, but like Mark was, because he had just gotten out of the Marine Corps, like he was kind of spit and polish, and it had to be perfect. So we would later find out that Mark was like bucking for Dave's job, and so there was like this dynamic of Dave and his lackey Mark, and
So
then
you're telling me there's politics at cemeteries?
yeah, big time. But
Hang
Mark
on a second.
realized,
You in your job, like, so what training did you have to go through? Did you have to go through training? Did you get to see any dead bodies? Did you get to see any cadavers? Did you
well,
get to?
that's later. That's coming later, Paul.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to get
Okay,
ahead.
so Mark ended up kind of realizing that he was being a jerk later that summer, and so like he offered to buy me and my friend Jake beer a lot, and we would sometimes take him up on it. Uh,
So
but
Mark's an older guy getting young guys in college who are underage drunk, basically.
well, he was at least buying us cheap, you know, warm beer from the gas station up the street.
Of
So,
course it was, yes.
uh, so then there was another guy whose name was Augie, and Augie never spoke at all. And
Which
he
is
was,
perfect for a cemetery worker.
yeah,
Augie, and he doesn't speak.
and he
Brilliant.
was big, but he drove everywhere really fast in his Ford pickup truck. And so we would just see Augie like tearing around like an Indy race car driver. And he would he'd drive on the streets in the cemetery, and then he'd take a hard right or left turn, and he'd start weaving in and out of the markers. And sometimes he would knock them over. But the thing was, Paul, we actually never knew what Augie did, because he would just drive around super fast.
Was he on?
Um,
Wait, was he on the payroll?
oh yeah, he was what we called a lifer.
How old was he?
He had to be in his mid 60s.
And why didn't he talk?
He just never talked. And
Maybe he,
the
maybe
other
he was
lifers
possessed
would
by maybe he was possessed by a dead person or something.
maybe the other lifers would make fun of him for not talking. There was
Let me get
a
this
guy,
right. Somebody who works at a cemetery is making fun of another human being. Oh,
right.
I get it. Okay, go
So
ahead.
then, so then there was another guy whose name was Dick, and
Of course.
Dick was one of the guys that would make fun of Augie, but Dick like would try and talk, but we couldn't ever understand what he was saying, so he would just like mumble and point.
So is he like Brad Pitt in the movie Snatch, where he's got like a really thick, he's like a thick Irish brogue, and he couldn't.
No, not even like no. There was no accent, Paul. It was just like unintelligible, like mumbling.
Like what did it sound like?
And then point, and then when you would didn't, and then when you say,
Wait,
can
do
you
an
say it
impression.
again?
Try to do an impression of it, so people watching and listening.
Dave and Jake, and we'd say, what? And he'd say, and then he'd raise his voice and he'd try and translate, and he'd just point.
So were you working with Frankenstein? It sounds like you.
Potentially. he so but the best character of all was Jim. And Jim was a guy who he always had a comb in his back pocket, and you would see him, and he was constantly pulling the comb out of his back pocket and combing his hair. And he would like unbutton like a couple of his top buttons of his shirt like this, and
Trying to like pick up some mourner that comes to see the mother or the father or something.
you could tell. I mean, you could tell he like went to a tanning bed because he was like orange.
So he was like the Elvis of your.
Yeah. And so like one time, and then like he would say things like, we'd be in there having lunch, and he'd like take out his comb and go like this, and he'd be like, "Got to keep the edge, Dave." And so like, but he was super, but like
And of
Augie,
course, he meant keep the edge, like the women want this kind of thing.
Apparently.
And I'm sure all of that attracts the women. And then the thing that makes them walk away is the word, "I work at a cemetery."
Cemetery.
And they turn around and they go to another guy at the bar.
But the best part about Jim was, and all these guys, Dick, Augie, and Jim, they were all super lazy. They were just there to punch the clock and take home a paycheck.
Well, what is there to do at a cemetery other than,
well,
once you got to dig the hole, right? You use a backhoe or something, right?
Yeah.
You drop the thing in, you put the dirt, you put the grass, cut
Right.
the grass. What else do you have to do?
So there's nothing to it. And so like Jim would go out in like his backhoe, and he would dig like a couple graves, and then literally from like 9 o'clock in the morning until lunch, he would take a nap. And so like, but he would park his backhoe in like secluded areas of the cemetery, and he would like turn it off. And then the crazy thing is that he had in his backhoe, in the cabin of the backhoe, he had a statue of the Virgin Mary.
Of course he did.
But instead of like looking at him, he would turn the statue out. And so my friend Jake and I thought that this was Jim asking the Blessed Virgin Mary to like be on the lookout for him, to let him know when people were coming so that he could wake up.
That's exactly right. Or maybe, he's a ladies' man. Maybe he wanted to get a look at her ass. Maybe he wanted to, you know what I mean?
Well,
you got to keep your edge, Dave. You got to keep your edge.
He was something else. Well, so anyway, so you had asked earlier about dead bodies and cadavers and all that stuff.
I want to hear how this ends.
So it was a really boring summer. We would make fun of these guys, and that would get kind of old after a while. And then, but like one day, something was kind of weird, and we showed up at the shop, and people were talking in hushed tones, and so my friend Jake and I, we like go out with our weed whips, because that's what we did. We just weed whipped around grave markers. And
sounds like something else you were doing, but that's okay. We'll just call it weed. We'll let everybody pretend like you were just doing gardening, but it sounds
we were like
weed whipping each other. Good for you.
We were weed whipping around the gravestones, and it was so painful, but whatever. It was a job. So about 10 o'clock that morning, we're out there, and Mark, the guy who just got out of the Marine Corps, drives up, and he's like, hey, he's like, you guys have to stay away from section 16 after lunch. And we said, okay. And so he says they're gonna do an exhumation.
Ooh.
And so my friend and I are like,
does Jim drop his comb in the grave or something?
So we said, why? And he goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, just stay away from section 16. So of course
you're gonna go to section 16.
We go to lunch, and we basically make sure we have a perfect vantage point of section 16 after lunch. And so we're like weed whipping like the adjacent section like for hours and hours. And we see Jim and he's working the backhoe and they're digging up a grave. And so we're like waiting on bated breath. And so finally, they get down to where the burial vault is, which is like the big concrete box that surrounds the casket. And they go to hook up the cables to the backhoe because they're gonna lift the lid off of the burial vault.
Oh, I didn't know the caskets go in a cement vault. I thought they just go
Yeah.
right down.
Yeah, and so there was a problem because when they tried to do this, like surprise, surprise, Jim didn't dig it correctly, and so like when they tried to lift the lid off the burial vault, it snapped the wire cables that were on the backhoe, and so they had to get new wire cables. So the tension's building.
So let's get to the good part here. What happened?
So they finally get into the burial vault. They lift the casket out. A limousine pulls up. An official gets out of the limousine. He goes up to the casket with a member of the clergy. They open the casket. They futz around in there. And then they close the casket and then they leave very quickly. They were there for like less than 5 minutes.
Did they take anything out?
Yeah, they took a piece of jewelry out.
What?
Yeah. And we only knew that we were so far off that we couldn't see what they were doing. But it turns out that this individual was wearing a precious ring. The ring was needed for some family reason. They had to get approval to do this. They got
That's
the
got to
approval.
be a serious ring if you're digging up a grave and then you're going to look at the cadaver.
I mean, and this person had been gone for a long time, Paul.
So didn't that give you the idea to start digging up all the graves at night and start going through? I mean, come on. You find it's like when you're on the beach with one of those metal detectors. You got a good shot. Maybe you make some money.
It's true that apparently people are buried with precious jewelry, and sometimes it's needed in retrospect.
That's a great story. This is why I do this, because I've never met anybody that worked in a graveyard, a cemetery, let alone with those characters. You need to write a sitcom or something. I love that Augie doesn't talk. One guy's combing his hair, sleeping all day. Like, it's perfect.
I mean, you can't possibly make it up, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're the boring one because you're the normal one. That's a great.
Well, we were just happy to get out of there and get back to college.
I was gonna say, although you should have. I think you should have opened up a few graves just to see what's going on. You missed your boat. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I got other folks I'm going to jump on here, but it's really nice of you to stay in touch. We're doing this every week, so you got other stories, or tell your friends, come on board, and we'll have some laughs. This is a great story, though. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, and I keep an eye out. I'm going to be coming back to Omaha too.
Good. Yeah, we'll be looking out for you. We enjoyed seeing you.
Great. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
There you go. That's Dave. Grave robber story. Nice. I love Augie, I think, because he doesn't talk. He's suspiciously weird. I wanna move this along. We have other guests waiting to join the show. A friend of mine now, also someone who has been we became a friend by coming to my show in Florida. Very special guy, Ricardo Burney, joining the show right now. Hey, Ricardo. I think, are you on mute? I think maybe. Yeah, I see you on. You're on mute. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
How about? There we go.
There you go.
Hey, how's it going? Nothing. Good, man. Good. How's things going?
Good.
Good to see you as well.
Ricardo came to my show in Orlando and came on stage. Was great on stage, and then we stayed in touch. And he's got a fabulous husband, and so good to see you. It was nice to see that you were coming on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was. It came up in my thread. It's like I'm gonna see how this online stuff happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. So the cool thing, like how I met you, I want to tell you a story about how. So there's these people who travel around, and their name is Adam and Monica, and they have this website, or I don't know how to say it, like a following, that they go around the country and they'll land in a city. They travel like in a bus or van, and they'll land in a city, and then they interview the people. But when they interview them, they learn about their story, kind of like what you're doing. And and then what they do, they take black and white photos of these folks, and then they put it on their website. But the cool thing is that they use the old type of like way to develop film, black and white, dip it in, so on and so forth.
Get high from all the formaldehyde.
Exactly.
And
Bunch of hippies,
crazy,
you know.
have crazy whip around sex like Dave in the cemetery.
Exactly. While they're weed whacking or weed
They're
whacking
weed
or whatever.
They're weed whacking.
Yeah, exactly. So they asked to interview Jose and I, and of course they did. But the cool thing about
Jose is your husband.
Yeah, Jose is my husband.
Yeah.
So we found out they were from New York. Well, their parents live in New York. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really think anything of it. So they had the art exhibit here in the museum, because what they do, they'll take the black and white photos, then they'll do a exhibit in a museum somewhere. So they were doing the exhibit, and while we were there, their mother, Monica's mother, told us that that she lived in New York. And I was like, oh, well, we're going to New York for vacation, blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, you know what? You can stay at our home. And I'm like, I don't even know you folks. You know, like what the hell? I have my black ass up there in your house, and I'm walking around the neighborhood. I don't know, man. I'm like the token black man, you know. Not gonna happen. But but they're really, really sweet. And come to find out, do you know? I did not know this person. Her parents, her father is Bill. Let me see. I always forget how to pronounce his name. I want to pronounce it correctly. He's a famous jazz musician.
This is Monica's father?
Monica's father, yes. Is Bill. Monica's father. Hold on. I had it all set up here, but of course. Bill Frisell. Do you know who this is? He's an American jazz guitarist.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, so we end up staying in this famous jazz musician's home, because what happened, he's a jazz musician, so he's always traveling. And the wife, her name, she's Carol DeVinernary. I always mess her name up. It's really hard to spell. But I can send it to you the exact way to spell it. But anyway, she's an artist, so they're always traveling.
Right.
So they'll let people stay in their home.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Was there like music? Were there like instruments everywhere? Did it feel like a musician's hub?
No, what it felt like, I felt like I was in a Woody Allen film, to be honest with you, but it was a cool place. It was
But Woody Allen film, how so?
Like for me, when I think about Woody Allen films, I always think of like these small apartments, with art everywhere, just a hodgepodge of things everywhere.
Yeah,
but it's eclectically, it's nice stuff. But you know, I'm thinking I'm going to this jazz musician. I'm thinking it's going to be marble and all these nice things. But no, it was this really beautiful home. And so I'm always kind of meeting people along the way, just for being myself, just kind of showing up.
That's the thing about your person. And by the way, I just want to tell anybody watching, if you want to join the fun here and jump in and got a story you want to tell, there's a link in the comments section. Just click on that. You can join us. We'll put you in the waiting room. But yeah, that's the thing about you. You've got a really you got a way about you. There's something that comes out of you that like you're a real people person and a sweet guy. And I would love, if you're comfortable, tell people like you were in the military.
Yeah.
You were closeted, but like you had like a double life,
whole other persona.
You mind just sharing a little bit of that? It's really
absolutely
a great, empowering story. And
so back before Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I was joining the military, and the funny part, the very beginning of this, is when I signed up for the military. used to be a question that they don't have anymore. And it asks, are you homosexual and have you ever had homosexual activity? So in my brain, my 19-year-old Southern boy brain, I had no idea. I was like, okay, there's Big Brother around. No, they know something. So I said yes.
Wait, when you sign up for the military, they ask you that question?
Well, before. That's why now, remember, it was don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, but
so it was before that.
Don't ask, don't tell.
There was a question. There was two questions. I want to say it was 25A and 25B. They would say, are you homosexual and or have you ever had homosexual activity? I was like, oh Lord, they know something. I'm gonna get beat up.
So you're like, let's see, does going to a musical count?
Yeah. Does it like if I'm doing high kicks in the back room, while I'm weed whacking?
I shave my legs. Is that
exactly?
I have.
So the recruiter came up to me and he literally came and said, "Hey, Ricardo, I see you answered yes on both of those questions." I was like, "Yeah." So make a long story short, he slid me another application. He said, "You might want to change those."
No.
So I changed answers because back then, those two questions, if you answered yes to either one of them, they could not let you in the military. So to this day, I still do not know if he was an ally or was he gay SF or he was just trying to get his numbers. So fast forward, I was stationed in Germany and I was moonlighting because I'm always trying to make some money some way. And so I'm a huge Patti LaBelle fan, huge. And they have this thing called
you're a gay man. Of course.
Oh, of course, that's my diva. Hey, come on, man. So Patty's doing her thing, and so the song, Lady Marmalade come on, and I just start imitating her. And the bar owner came up to me and said, "Hey, you think you'll do that on stage?" I'm like, "I'm not a fucking drag queen. Are you serious? I mean, I'm in the army. How the fuck?"
So you're in your military.
No, I'm actually.
I'm
in the military, but this is a club in Kaiserslautern, Germany that I would go out to at night.
Okay.
But they needed a bar back.
You're in your civvies.
I'm in my civvies, just hanging out.
But,
but I was kind of dressed up a little bit because it was a thing called fashing.
Look I could be gay.
I could be Patti LaBelle. Yeah, you're very gay. So the bar owner was like, "Hey, would you perform here?" And I was like, "I don't even know anything. I don't know nothing about makeup." So anyway, they paid me to dress up and start performing. And so fast forward, I move out to Monterey, California. It's a lot of in there, but I moved to California. I got stationed out in Monterey.
So I'm sorry, you did dress up or you did not? I mean, you did.
I did. Eventually, they hired me at the club.
Okay, you can't skip over that. That's the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
so
yeah.
Now you're.
I'm a drag queen. I'm a drag queen while I'm in the military.
So you cannot just, I love you. When you get to that part, that's the big reveal that you're in. And Ricardo is a big man. You're tall.
I'm 6'4", 275.
He's a man. So that's a lot of man to have a lot of sequence.
Yeah, a lot of sequence, a lot of heels.
So you would put a skirt, the whole thing, and then
I would put the dress on. And the thing is, I had a makeup artist, a friend of mine who was a makeup artist that I met at the club.
Of course you did.
I knew, of course, well, I did. I knew nothing about makeup, and he didn't know too much about makeup either, because he was putting a white man putting makeup on a black man to turn him into a black woman. It was a mess. But anyway, thank God I was animated and good at what I did.
So and you would lip sync to Patti LaBelle?
Yeah. That was my main. And then I think like any of the divas back then was like Whitney Houston, but the only person I ever tried to imitate is Patti LaBelle.
So how are you keeping this from people that you're serving with? You got makeup on your face. You got to wash all that off.
You got to wash all of, yeah. It's a whole thing because
worried that one of them is going to walk in and
because for one thing, the club I went to was far away from where I was stationed. I had befriended some German friends, so I would stay off post. So I didn't really hang out in the barracks. I mean, I'm going to be in Germany. We were poor growing up. I was like, I'm not fucking staying in the barracks just to hang out and get drunk. I can do that anywhere. I'm in Germany, so
I got a drag show to do.
I got a drag show, and I'm trying to find myself. And note to this, I was engaged to a woman at the time, so I don't know if I remember telling you that.
Wow.
I was engaged, yeah.
So
I had met someone in college.
So you're closeted, but did you have any homosexual relationships with guys you were serving with?
Yes.
Oh, cool. And
to be honest with you, a couple, but I was more attracted to European. men and women at the time.
I'm of European descent. I'm married, but I'm just
Okay,
like,
yeah, but you know, we've talked about this with those big lips you have and everything, but we'll talk about that later. Not on screen, not on screen.
come on, I can make your whole life with these lips. So now do you have the gaydar? That's what they say. Like, so you're serving in the military, and you can you tell, like, without speaking, like, one guy, he's, you know,
it's hard, and I think that's the thing is learning that being in the military is that everyone don't look gay. You know, there's like, what do you look gay? There's no looking gay. Remember, that was the whole thing that I got nervous about when you asked me, like, well, you don't look gay.
Yeah, I said you don't look gay because you don't.
Yeah, and so,
you know,
and I think that's the thing is, it's like we have this persona inside that a gay person look a certain way.
Right.
And I mean, there was some flaming queens, of course, so you know, but then you know, you had people. There was guys I had and women that I had zero idea about, and I come to find out they were. So you know, and I think that was more of me coming around to who I was and kind of understanding, even till now, you know, understanding the whole spectrum of the queer, you know, community.
So you're living this double life. You're a drag queen in Germany. In the Germany. This is such a great story.
Yeah.
And not worried. And then where would you hide your didn't you have to hide your clothes? Like
yeah. So some of the things I would keep at my friend's house. Did you show
up for like formation and then you forgot that you still had your earrings on?
No, but what did happen is that I would show up for formation and we would be running. And as you can see, I don't have a lot of eyebrows. So
Dave, you went away and you're watching now. Dave, this is Ricardo, who served in the military, and while he was in the military, he started coming out and was a drag queen in Germany. Okay, he didn't work in a cemetery. I know it's not as exciting as that, but now you're caught up. So go ahead. What happened to your eyebrows?
No, I don't have a lot of. It's just I don't grow a lot of eyebrow.
Yeah.
So I remember trying to shape them, and one day I was running in the. Running in formation, and one of my buddies like, you got to go to the bathroom. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you need to go to the bathroom because what it is, I had drawn on my eyebrow because I had shaved it off for a show, and it was leaking. It was dripping out as I was sweating. He was like, you need to go.
It's like Rudy Giuliani at that press conference.
Yeah, exactly.
His hair dye was going.
Yes. He was like, buddy, you need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, I don't need to fucking go. He's like, yes, you do. He's like, and so God. So you would see this makeup seeping like around my collar a little bit, and
and then people are going like, maybe he's not really black, maybe he's
maybe he's
probably thought you were a white guy.
Exactly. I got blackface on or something. I don't know.
Great.
But yeah, and so then so fast forward, I got stationed in Monterey, California, and I found my community there, and I used to get dressed because I was stationed in Monterey, but I was stationed in a place called Fort Hunter Liggett, which was about like an hour outside of Monterey. So I would get dressed in my friend's car, do my makeup in the car to do the show, and then go back to the base.
Amazing.
And then and fast forward, like I didn't even think about it, but I was on the committee of Monterey County, California's first Pride organization. Like I was part of that community. Like,
so you're in the military, but you came out at that point?
Yeah. So no. So that's the thing is I would go to these meetings after I got off or what have you. And then once I got out of the military, I stayed in Monterey. And so what was insane is that while I was in the military, I was Miss Gay Monterey County 1996. Serving the country.
Miss, I got to get this right because you're going to be when you come back on the show. I'm going to introduce you as Miss Gay Monterey 1992.
Not 96, 95, 95.
Miss Gay. Yeah. You got to text me that.
Oh yeah, I'll send you. Yeah, I'll send. There's a great article too that was written about me by this guy named Mike Kepka, which is like a Emmy Award winning.
I know that name.
Yeah, I'm a friend of his. I met him in Monterey. Him and his girlfriend at the time. Now they're married. Him and his wife Sarah.
Yeah.
He wrote this article called, and I'll send that to you. It's called "The Story of a Soldier and a Lady." And,
all right. Listen,
yeah. So yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Gay Monterey 1996.
Five.
joined is amazing story. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I want to jump because we got other people, but
Yeah, please.
when you come back on,
Mm-hmm.
maybe come on with your husband and maybe tell that story about how he was kidnapped and everything.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Cool.
Story. It's amazing, but he's the sweetest guy too.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you came on, man, and it's great
For
to
sure,
see you.
man. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Great story. All right.
All right.
There you go. Oh, come on. Grave digging, grave robbing, Miss Gay Monterey 1995. We're going to keep going here. My friend Emily is back. Hi, Emily. Look at you. Oh, you have your background. I don't have my background. I'm sorry. I let you down.
Where are you? You're not in our living room, Paul.
No, exactly. How do I get that? Where do I go? Anyway, how you doing? It's great
I'm
to
doing
see
all
you.
right. I'm a little frazzled because in my actual house, I just was alerted to a loud hissing sound of our adorable Chorgy pissing behind me. So,
Look, I'm in the same living room now.
oh, look at us. We decorate so nicely. Is this like mid-century dystopian?
Yeah.
You don't have a Ninja Turtle blanket, though. Like,
No, I don't have. You have a Ninja Turtle. Oh, you are the most interesting person on the planet. Oh my God, look at that. So Emily has been a guest on the show before. She's seen me live. She is a professor, and you teach you teach media arts, right? Do I have that right?
Yes, that is animation, special effects.
So what's new?
storytelling.
How's your husband? What's going on? Anything new? Any fun stories for us?
Husband's great. He just got also rattled because he came up here and helped with the pee situation because it's like I'm backstage, not whatever this is, this liminal space. You think I would have better lighting being a media person? There we go.
No, you're good. You're good.
I thought of you earlier this week. I have a lot of really wonderful students this semester, and one of them gave me this. Ooh, talk about shiny! Holy fuck!
Tilt it down. There you go.
Oh yeah, baby. Tilt it down. I'm just disappearing into space now. But Muppets.
Okay, I know that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Somehow I did not own this book, and there's a whole chapter about Frank.
Frank Oz. He's the director of this show, and there, right there. Move it to your left a little bit. Nope, the other way, and raise it up a little bit. And that guy with the mustache. Okay.
Can't see it anymore. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're aiming for.
With the mustache is Frank Oz, and he created Miss Piggy and Cookie Monster, and I learned something. I first met him because I had him on my podcast, and we were talking about being a puppeteer, and he said, people think of puppeteer is just you have your hand up the butt of some felt character. He goes, it's not that. It's you create this character with characteristics that you have in yourself. And he talked about how he would imbue his own characteristics in the different characters, and that's how they come to life. And then he can speak as that character from that vantage point. Like Miss Piggy was actually, overbearing because she's overcompensating for being insecure. And he said, I've been insecure. And so it's really, really fascinating. He's on my podcast Inside Out with Paul McCurry, if you want to listen to it, but he's a great guy and been a real mensch to me. But so and so your students are good, you're good. So what's going on? Are you you have a very interesting life, and you have any new tattoos since I've seen you last?
Nothing new currently. I am considering a dark crystal one though. It's surprising I don't have one because that's my favorite film. Speaking of,
tell people, isn't that how you knew you were going to marry your husband, because you watched 6 hours of Dark Crystal or something like that?
It's close. The 8 hours of Grand Theft Auto before being asked, do you want to watch Dark Crystal? That could have been the proposal, which 2 years later happened in front of the original Kermit. Summarize there. We have a very, there's a lot of puppets incidentally in our relationship. And working on.
You bought a Kermit puppet in your relationship.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's action figures, and I mean, the nice thing about having somebody that's so similar to you as a partner is like there's not like a man cave. This is like a man cavern, and not our beautiful living room here, but surrounded by. There's like a life size animal
Right.
behind me. There's like multiple. There's a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna ask you something. When your husband proposed, did he do it in the Kermit voice?
No, but I guess he could.
Emily, Emily, Emily,
No, and I didn't say hi.
marry me,
I just.
marry me, Emily.
I did think about Miss Piggy a lot this last week, though, just after that quiet piggy nonsense that happened. I'd like seeing her come up as just kind of a reference for not tolerating that shit. But
And you're kind of goth, right? Is that fair to say?
okay, so you asked how the students were. One of them felt comfortable enough referring to me as an elder goth last week.
What is an elder goth? So we have a grave digging guy, knows the grave diggers. We have Miss Gay. What was it? Miss Gay Monterey, and now we have an elder goth. Everybody, this is a monumental night for permission to speak. So what does an elder goth mean? Do you have like a walker? Do you like only?
You better be talking about fucking Star Wars if you're saying a walker to me. Come on now. No, it's one of the ways I felt that once is when asking my students their favorite films. And somebody said Star Wars, and I said which one? And they said the old ones, and I said which one? And they said Phantom Menace.
And they said what?
The Phantom Menace, you know, the ones that happened
Yeah.
like in fucking 90s. Like,
Yeah.
and I wanted to. And they could have been talking about the Star Wars timeline, whatever. We're talking film students, whatever. I got really upset there. But the elder goth thing.
I assume that person flunked.
No, they're fine. That student once complained that the only candy in the classroom was almond joy, and I was kind of like, you do realize you're still you're complaining about candy, nonetheless. I usually have candy. There's some metaphor in there, but
You have candy in your classroom?
I do every day. I don't know if that's bad, but
But they're college kids. They're not like little kids, right?
That's adorable.
That's adorable, though. That's like that. You're like a fun, cool teacher, professor.
I tried to be. I actually got an email, a LinkedIn message, LinkedIn. I don't know what that's called. I got a message on LinkedIn from a graduate from 13 years ago. He specified that he says he uses the green screen skills. Like
Say that again. You cut out a little bit.
The green screen skills, like
the green. Yeah, okay.
Like this kind of stuff. This is
Yeah.
about the peak of what I can do. In his job, like, you know, for going on 13 years now. And it's just nice hearing little messages like that, especially because I'm entering year 20 of being a full-time teacher. So I guess that's part of that.
You don't look old enough to be doing it 20 years. What were you like as a kid? Were you like, did you get into goth like when you were like a little kid, like a young kid? Like, yeah. What was it about it? Like what is it about it that like grabs you?
I mean, with its claws, because it's like goth. That disobedient dog is now under the desk and trying to vie for attention. Come on, buddy. Don't pee on the action figures. That's like rule 1 in the house. Oh, now the cat is acting up.
All right.
Yeah, and actually, I was just feeling too down to speak earlier, but then I heard the uplifting graveyard anecdotes and was like, we lost a cat recently, a black cat, because that's what goth people have. And I found an old friend of mine yesterday who passed away. So it's been a rough series of weeks, but I feel like most people can say that. Oh God, the cat is approaching.
When you were a kid, like you started sort of doing the black clothes, the whole thing. Like, how old were you?
I mean, I became a tomboy or whatever that is really young. I didn't really like the dresses or pink or anything like that. I just like what Ricardo was saying about just, you know, things are kind of a spectrum. I really didn't buy into pink or wanting to play house and stuff like that, even though
So you're a bit of a tomboy. Were you?
Oh,
Were
yeah.
you? Were you? Were you? Did you experiment? Were you experiment with being gay at all, or were you
Yeah.
always straight?
Still,
Yeah.
yeah. Fucking professor. And it was a creepy answer.
Yeah,
I
there's a-
did come out. Sorry, I did come out to my dad when I was a teenager by telling him that if I wrote a book, it would be the memoirs of a 6'2" bisexual Jew. And he said, "I wish you
How
didn't."
how did he
that.
react to that?
He said, "I wish you didn't tell me that," and then just went back to his sandwich, and that was that. But he's very grateful for Tony. People are very happy for my stable.
Well, I always wonder, like, if you're bisexual and then you make that commitment to go one way, which you did with a man, how do you make that commitment? Like, what was it that tipped the scales for you?
You know, somebody just being exceptional, which I think is true for.
The personality.
Yeah, you know, I would say I'm like 50-50. For me, it's really not really one or the other. It's just the person.
Yeah.
And
Because I've asked some lesbians, like, do you miss the penis? They're like, nah, you got the strap on and the thing. So that's not really it. So it's the personality, right?
right, you know, and you know, all those appendages are whatever. You know,
Overrated?
it's about what's up here, not what's in there.
Oh, wait a minute. Come on. Ricardo would disagree as well, I think.
I'm.
So you,
So anyways.
so you, but you must love, your students must love you. So have you had anything, and then I got someone else who wants to come on, so I'm going to move on in a minute. But have you ever, do you have any, like, 20 years of teaching, you must have some stories of, like, with your kids or whatever, or questions you get where you just can't answer, or just situations where, do they come to you for mentoring advice, like anything like that? Like,
Yeah, and that could be really tough, especially, you know, these modern days, like when you're not sure about what's going to happen yourself, but you still have to try to, you know, I think that emoji with the sweat drop and the smile is like my spirit animal. If you can have that as a spirit animal, I feel like it's going to be great.
the emoji with a smile and a sweat drop?
Yeah, that's the anxious emoji, I think, is like my spirit animal, because it's just kind of like, it's going to be fine. Just
You're always anxious?
a little, you know, it's just managing that many young people and their expectations. And that was the anecdote that made me think about calling in. Not, here comes a cat. What a fucking beautiful segue. This is filmmaking at its finest. Keep fucking going, though.
There you go.
There was some piano music playing inexplicably in the hallway last week while I was trying to animate something. And I said that I was feeling so inspired.
This is at school.
Yes. So I had a room full of students. I was also live streaming. I was teaching storyboarding in my pre-production class. And I said that this music was making me feel so inspired that I wanted to hang some cats from a tree. I was thinking of the Hang In There poster, but I could tell by the fucking dead silence that
they thought you were a member, like remember the KKK or something.
They were imagining tiny, cute little nooses, and they all got more quiet than they've ever gotten in my entire class. So I was like, "Whoa, let me show you what this is a reference to." So
the hang in their baby thing, right?
Right, and I actually didn't. It goes back even further than I realized. I thought of the cute little Persian cat that's like colorful and fluffy, like this one. Hi, Shira. Oh my God, look at you.
Look at that.
But there's one from the 70s that's all black and white and like very industrial and way creepier. But anyways, it was just one of those moments, those age gaps. Like no one else in my class other than one student had ever seen the thing before. And that was also kind of painful. So that's part of my job now too, is to make sure people have seen James Cameron shit. And
get them hip to old stuff. Old stuff is good, you know?
Ray Harryhausen and Frank Oz and keep that shit,
RoboCop and, you know.
Put those two things right together. That Venn diagram of Frank Oz and RoboCop and whatever fits between those two things. That's what they need to study.
The thing and well, I love when you come on. You're so interesting, and you always have great stories.
Thanks.
I am picturing little kitties being hung by a noose now. Thank you for that.
I did end up animating that in my demo. The poster, not the news, but the improv style teaching, just the jazz.
Yeah, it's like the guys running the school call you in, like, we know you're into goth, but this is a little too on the goth side.
A little too far. Tenure, baby. Sorry. Not
Well,
gonna
it's good hanging out in our living room together again.
Yeah, I'll see you in the bunker later.
All right. So,
Night.
say hi to Tony.
I
See ya.
will. Bye.
All right, we're gonna say great to have you on. Hey, Alex, come on here, my buddy Alex. What's up, man? I think you're on mute, buddy. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
Oh,
We got
it's been a minute, right?
before we end. We got to end at 9, but I wanted to talk to you for a minute. You live in Edmonton, right?
Yes. Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You know a guy named JT Fox, or does that ring the bell? JT Fox? Not really.
Not really. Yeah. Have you been doing stand up?
It's been struggling. It's just been struggling a little bit lately in terms of like work and in terms of like stuff, and also like recently my sister like passed away, like.
Oh,
so
sorry for that. How old
just
is she?
she was like 49, almost 50. She just passed away like the last week of November or something like that.
That's too bad. Sorry to hear that. Was she sick for a while?
Yeah, she had like cancer for like for over a year. So she's been pretty sick for a year or so. So.
And so what have you been doing? How's your job? Where do you work again?
I'm just working for like a marketing company, but it's like a temporary here and there, so not a permanent basis. So, yeah. So and I'm also getting like partial employment insurance to go along with it, supplement it. So still a struggle.
Have you been writing any jokes?
Not so lately.
Gotta write
just
some jokes. Do a little
okay.
writing.
I mean, hey, maybe if I can write jokes, then I can just be your writer. You tell the joke, and I'll just write for you. Maybe I could get a job that way.
There you go. Now you know how to maneuver in the show business world. And what have you been doing for fun? Anything fun? Are you dating? Are you seeing anybody?
Fun. I guess my idea of fun is like kind of like play some games, watch some trivia shows like Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and then fun is also like watching these late night talk shows like Letterman, no, not Letterman, Colbert, Fallon, Kimmel, those kind of things.
I work on the Colbert Show.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and then there's daytime talk shows as well. Sometimes, like, can't remember what. Jennifer Hudson or Kelly Clarkson. Remember, there used to be like Ellen DeGeneres.
You really like TV. You're a big fan of TV, right?
I guess it's almost like an addiction or something. Like whether if I watch it through like TV or YouTube now, but then if I watch it YouTube, I have an advantage. I just do it through speed, so yeah, it's faster than TV.
Tell me, you got any good stories before we wrap up? Anything interesting that's happened since I talked to you last? Anything that comes to mind?
So
it's okay if you don't.
I got this guy's JT Fox, but you don't know him, so there's no point in me talking about JT Fox. And also, like, my sister passed away, so that's another thing. Well,
you got to start.
By the way, what another thing too? Like, are you kind of like political? Like, are you like pro Trump or anti-Trump, or you don't talk about politics? I mean,
we don't really talk politics on this show. Okay. I think people need a break from it. And it doesn't really accomplish anything. There's enough of those shows out there. So,
okay.
But I do go on CNN and MSNBC and I talk politics. But on this show, it's just about people connecting. That's what's happening tonight. You know, Emily's really interesting, and Dave worked cemetery, and he would whip around with his buddy and whatever that was. And then you got Ricardo, who's amazing, and so it's about people sort of getting to know each other who normally wouldn't connect.
They're not. I don't think they're even professional comedians. I think one guy works in a graveyard. The other guy was in the military or something like that.
There's no professional comedians on the show. I don't do that. We don't That's not what this show is. It's just regular people joining the conversation, not professional comedians. That's not the goal of the show. You know, we're just trying, you know, so it's guys like you know, just regular people who are interesting, you know. So you got to get you dating, and we got to get you writing some jokes. Next time I talk to you, I got to find out that you're engaged to be married. And I'm just kidding.
Oh, then I can't come on the show. Eh? I can't come on the show
No, no,
until I
no.
find a girlfriend.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Oh.
It's great to talk to you. Thank you for coming on.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
then. Thanks.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. What a great show. Wow. This has been awesome. I can't thank my guests enough. Dave, Ricardo, and Emily. Fantastic stories. I hope you all enjoyed it. I had a great time. We'll be doing this again next week. Keep an eye out, and have a great week. And I'm going to be December 12th and 13th. I'm going to be in Phoenix at the House of Comedy coming up soon. February 11th to the 14th, I'm going to be in Royal Oak, Michigan at the Comedy Castle. Both great clubs I've been to before. So if you're in the area, you know anybody in the area, tell them to come out. We'll have a blast. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks again, everybody. Good night.